Hi, and welcome back to Sound Healing, a horse of a different color. Well, a week has passed and we are now into our final episode. Hey, you guys, you made it! Great, we all are alive and well. And what I wanted to begin with today, before we get into the meditations that we're going to be teaching today, is a little bit of feedback on the inner dialogue piece and how that bled into my life this past week. Well, remember when I introduced inner dialogue and Misha outlined her childhood and adult and fears and so forth, and we talked a lot about fear as sometimes the motivation behind things? Well, I don't know whether I should say this on tape or not, but the shit hit the fan for Sandra last week, all right? Her greatest fear from childhood on into my life at present has been the fear of authority figures, starting with a small child who was trying to be big and grown up at about 10, I think I was. Not so small, but still a young child. And I wanted to listen to the news with my dad because my dad wasn't around a whole lot. And one of the things he always did was, as we sat around the kitchen table, is listen to the 6 o'clock news. So being, big wheel, I strut into the dining room, which was dark. All the lights were out except for those in the kitchen. And I got down on my knees and I was twisting the radio dial, and instead of turning the volume up like I had hoped to, because I was going to want to really listen to this with Dad, I changed the station. Boom, 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 boom. I could hear my dad's footsteps. And I wasn't exactly on friendly terms with my dad. I was always a little bit afraid of him anyway, because he just looked at you and you kind of froze. I was scared to death at that point, and I was down on my knees, and Dad, I could see his shoes. And as I looked up to explain what I had done, he slapped me across the face, leaving his handprint. My dad has never really touched me. My mom was the one that always gave me a little switching with those little sticks or something out in the yard. And I came back to the table, or we all came back to the table, and my mother came to my defense and defended me in front of my dad. I didn't defend myself. Does that tell you anything? This was a big changing moment for me, a significant moment for me, where from that point on, I was not only leery of men, but authority figures in general. And what that has to do with my life at present is the backstory of having met with the city at one point about renting my basement out to someone on assistance, and the city finding out that this was an illegal apartment, which I hadn't really fully realized, and we coming to a confrontation about that, and the end of which ended in my complying with the city's wishes, taking out the kitchen and putting in a sink to their specifications. All right, great. Karma completed, right? Wrong. It's been almost 5 years since that incident, and now during the process of this renovation, we have moved along beautifully, just as this class has, perfectly. Everything's fallen into place. And lo and behold, when my contractor and some staff go down to from Lowe's go down to meet with the city, paperwork from this past incident has come up, and yet they're saying that it has nothing to do with their current decision of rescinding those permits. We don't know why. They're asking that a a hearing take place and that we prepare all of this paperwork. In another week's time that has to be completed, and the hearing is going to be then October 1st, delaying everything. So you can imagine what my inner dialogue has been. I have been very conscious of this whole process. And the victim wants to just go, oh, why now? What have you done to me? God, why is this happening to me? You know, everything you've showed me is going to go great, and then boom, you throw in a boomerang. And then to complicate matters, the plot thickens where it's suggested that we get legal counsel. And I just go, oh dear. The critic goes, oh, that's a stupid idea. You know, that's just going to delay things even further, months perhaps. And you'll never get a renter in here, and you're going to lose all your money. And the child is scared to death. All of these characters are talking loud, loud, loud. And this moves us then right where we need to be in filming this online course, because I took out Deepak's 7 spiritual laws for success, and I've been working those. And this past week's work was on karma. And so I took Deepak's suggestion and started looking at, why is this happening to me? What does the universe want from me? What is the karma related to this? I've been challenging what has been going on, and the nurturing voice has come in and said, your higher purpose here is to demonstrate to your audience, to those of you viewing this, but mostly to yourself, that you can confront authority without producing the bad karma of blaming, ridiculing, whatever, all those negative things. But you can meet with the city in your power, in a positive, compassionate way, so that you are listening and respecting them, because that is what you want. So when you want happiness, you want respect, you want whatever, you've got to be that in the world to get that back. It's about giving and receiving, all right? Where we started out with some of your themes. So we are going to keep our focus on moving ahead, and we are going to take this, what some people would call an obstacle, as an opportunity for spiritual growth. And I want you to really hear that, because I had to put myself on the line to you and actually live what I teach. And that has been a wonderful challenge and opportunity. So we are going to comply with the city. We are going to have a contingency plan in place if we need it. But we are going to keep our focus on getting this course done, the renovation done, and we're going to do that with will and grace. All right. So I say all of that to you to, again, demonstrate to you how important it is you're aware of not only the details of your life, but the bigger picture, and how you work with that. Because your inner dialogue is kind of really a prayer. When you're talking when the nurturing voice is talking to you and you're talking back, it's kind of a prayerful exchange. So how perfect is that to lead us into the 3 meditations that we're going to be working with today? And I'll introduce those in just a moment. But first, just a little short break. Be right back.